Yes. But what's the rule? Gotta show what you're doing. Yep. So, volume of prisms. We did this last year. This is not new to you. We did it last year. But there's a few things we have to talk about before we talk about prisms because this is the first time we've been talking about them ever. So what is a prism? Okay, a prism is a polyhedron, aka a 3D figure that has a polygon as a base with two parallel congruent bases. And I'll talk about what that is in a second. So everything today is going to have one of those shapes in it somewhere. It's not going to no circles today. No circles. We might do circle stuff more tomorrow. I would show you tomorrow. That would have been for tomorrow's lesson. So I'm going to show you tomorrow's lesson, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I should do it for the other kids in the other class. We'll see. Okay, so a prism today. We're not talking about pyramids, we're talking about prisms. So prisms in your life would be like a cereal box. That's a prism. A prism in here, let's see, would be the eraser. Okay? A prism in here would be my shelf over there. A book would be a prism. A door would be a prism. A Kleenex box. Yes, those are all prisms, okay? Now here's the deal. There's different kinds of prisms, and prisms are always labeled or always named by their base. Here's the deal. When we think of base, we think of it something that's sitting on it. That's sitting on, right? So like if I think of a base, I think of what it's sitting on, like on the floor. But that's not true in the terms of prisms. Prisms, their bases, there's always two of them, and they're always on the opposite sides. So what would the bases of this be? The triangles. But it's not setting on it. That's still, even though it's not sitting on it, doesn't mean these are not the bases. Does that make sense? They don't have to, prisms don't have to sit on the base. And you see that a lot with triangular prisms. They don't always sit on the base. If it sat on the base, this is what it would look like. Okay, yep. Perfect square, so like a cube. So like this. So like this. Because for bases, also you have to have two of them and they have to be across from each other. Bases, bases, bases. There's tons of bases in here. Same thing with this one right here. Okay, it's still a rectangular prism. But these two could be bases, these two could be bases, these two could be bases. So that's the thing with a rectangular prism. All of them can technically be bases. Unlike triangular prisms, that's not true at all. Does that make sense to everybody? So everybody knows what a base is. Okay, there's always two of them, no matter what. Then, we are talking about volume today. And this should be a V. So volume is a space inside of the prism. Space inside. How much of it could be filled? That's what a prism is, or volume is, I'm sorry. It's measured in cubic units, so all of the labels would be cubed, centimeters cubed, inches cubed. And the reason why is because most likely you're multiplying three numbers together. Yes, so you multiply two numbers together, right? Squared, technically, okay? But volume is usually three numbers, so that's why it's cubed. The formula is always big B times H. Make sure you have the big B, because that's important. Don't make it a little b. And the big B means something. It's the area of the base. One thing that I need to talk about before we do any formula or volume stuff, is I have to talk. Can I move it up a little bit? You guys care? Okay. I have to talk about how to find the area of a triangle. Anybody remember? Yeah, base times height, little b times height divided by 2. That's to find the area of a triangle. Why do you divide by 2? Do you remember? Of a? Nope. You're close. Square. Yeah, a triangle's half of a circle, you guys. It's half a square. All triangles are half a square. Sorry, you hear that was too funny. Okay. Huh? Yep. All triangles are half a square. No matter what they look like, they're technically all half a square, no matter what they look like. Okay? So, make sure you know the big B is the area of the base. So we actually have to probably do a formula in here to find what that big B is, and I'll show you that. And the little b is just the bottom of the triangle. So that's the difference between the two b's. The little b is the bottom of a triangle, and the big B is the area of the whole base. Okay? Now, before we do anything, we're going to practice finding the area of a triangle quick, just to make sure we're all on the same page with that. Does anybody still need this part yet? Pretty good? Okay, so let's do, here's a triangle. Okay, my base is 20 inches. My height is 10 inches. How would you find the area of this triangle? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Base times the height divided by 2. And this would be 100, I believe, inches squared. So you have to know how to find the area of a triangle before we even dive into the volume of prisms. Okay, that's really important. You have to know how to do this. Is everybody kind of coming back to a triangles a little bit? Like, do I need to go over another one? Are you okay? Okay. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a just plain old rectangular prism. Okay? If you want to draw this in your notebook, I'll show you how to draw it. What you're going to do, who wants to know how to draw it? Oh, Maddie, you know how? Nice. I know I taught you last year. If you don't know, it's just, that would be my back. This would be my front. I would connect my corners, and I have a 3D box. What? Yeah, it really does go back and forth. Like, this could be the back, that could be the front, this could be the back. Yeah, it really depends how you see it. I always see it coming out this way. Like, I see this as the front, this is the back. But you can see it the other way where it's going up. Yeah, if I cross my eyes, I can see it. Okay, so if you look at it the other way, like where this is the bottom and this is the front, and this is the back, you can see it both ways. You can't see it both. Keep practicing, you'll find it. I don't like it the way Hunter sees it either. I like to see it towards me like this. Okay, but here's the deal. I'm going to do it just like this up here. Okay, so I'm going to do it the opposite way, Hunter. Is that all right with you? Okay. So I'm going to say, okay, so this is 3 centimeters right here, and this is 4.2. Make sure you're labeling on yours. And this is 5 centimeters. So the first thing I like to do is I like to write out the equation. So I know it's big B times my height. So if I look at this, what shape is the base? So it's a rectangle. If it was a square, these two would be the same. Okay? See that? Okay. Okay, so hold on. How do you find the area of a square again? Brian? Or square or rectangle? Yeah. Length width or base times height. Very good. So for my area of my base, I'm going to take these two times each other. That's the area of my base. And I think it's like 12.6. Okay. Now I'm going to stop right here. And I'm just going to look, I'm going to have you look at my picture. So when I found the bottom, that's the area of this bottom right here. So that means that this whole thing is 12.6. Now why am I going to multiply by 5 to find the volume? It's just filling up. Remember, so like if my area is 12.6, then my next layer is going to be 12.6. And how many layers do I have? How many layers is it telling me I have? That's why it's volume. That's why you have to find the base. And then that height is telling you how many layers you have of it. Does that make sense to everybody? So then I would take it times 5, and whatever I get, yada, yada, yada. Centimeters cubed. That would be my volume. So that's why you have to find the base first, is because you want to know how the layer, that would be your layer, and then your height is how many layers there are of that. Okay, is everybody following what I'm saying? Now here's the trick, the easy thing about rectangular prisms. You honestly can just multiply all three numbers together. That's what you can do for something like this. Okay. What's that? For some you cannot. Correct. And that's the ones that don't have a rectangle as a base. Okay? So anything that has a rectangle as a base, you can multiply all three of them together. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay, why don't you do another one? I'm going to give you another one. And you do it by yourself. Here's my cereal box. Let's see, a cereal box is usually like 12 inches. And it's usually like 2.5 inches. And then it's usually like 8 inches down here. So figure out my volume of my cereal box. And make sure that you're writing something down in your notebook, because you're going to want this for when we start looking at semester test stuff. Don't just say, well, 12 times 0.5 times 8 in your notebook. What does that even mean? Okay? So make sure you're actually showing some stuff in your notebook. 8 inches. Sorry. So my base, my big B, times my height, my base would have been these two. And then times 8, or times 12, because that's how many layers there are of it. And I don't know what the answer is. I didn't do it. I just made these numbers. 240? Evenly? Cool. Inches cubed. Okay, so do we understand rectangular prisms? Those are the easiest, the most simple things today. Then we get into something like this. Okay? What kind of base does this have? What a triangular base. Okay, so hold on. Hold that thought. Do you want to draw this? Okay, so what you would do is you would make like a triangle like this, like a piece of cake. You can make another one a little below it, and then you're just going to connect the dots. That's not very good because it's kind of at an angle. Sure. Top. And then you can do something like this if you wanted to, because those are sides you really don't see. Looks like that. Oh my gosh, Maddie, seriously. Just do your best. Just do your best. You want me to do it one more time? No? Good? Sure. That's fine. The easiest way you can find to draw, I'm good with that. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write your equation. Big B times your height. So first thing is, what's my base? No. What shape is my base? Okay, so that's the first thing I have to do. I have to find the area of the triangle. So what are some of the things that I know about this? What's this? 6 times 2 divided by 2. Now that's big B. That's the area of my triangle. I have to do that first because that's going to tell me the layer that is. I don't know what it is. 12 times 6. Oh, that's easy. Yep. So the area of my triangle is 6 centimeters squared. So now my triangle is 6 centimeters. How many layers does it say I have of it? 7, because it's 7 high. Times 7. So it should be 42 centimeters cubed. Thank you. So here's my biggest thing. I had so many people in my last class that said, well, why didn't we divide by 2 on this one? It's not a triangle, right? There's no triangles involved. So I don't, yeah, it's a fine area, but rectangle, I'll just do base times height. So if there's no triangles involved, there's no dividing by 2. 0 dividing by 2. Hunter. For the most part, but there's a few other things I'm gonna add on to as well. Okay. So let's try this one. Do you want to try this one by yourself? Okay. You try this one by yourself. Carver, do you have something before you put it into your calculator? All right. Okay, so big B times your height. So, I'm guessing some of you are done or close to it. No. Do not screw everybody up. What's my base? What shape is my base, Carver? The triangle. So, how do I find the area of that triangle that they're giving me? Yep. So what's just the area of the triangle? Anybody find that out? 52, 26. I think you're right. So 26 is just the area of the triangle. That's just my big B. Now, my height is 15. I'm going to multiply those two together. I don't know what you guys got. You're going to 90 inches cubed. Okay? So, is this as hard as we're making it? No, it's not as hard as we're making it. Everything is cubed. Yep. Area is the only thing that's square. Now, let's just make it a little harder. What if I have this? Let's find the volume of this. Take them apart. Okay. They're not the hard ones. They're not the hard ones. Then you add them together. Yep. And think about it. So, remember last year we did, or maybe I didn't do this with you last year, I don't remember. But I like to actually number them 1 and 2. Because I say, okay, I'm going to work with number 1 first. I like to split my things up. This is how I stay organized. Yep. You know what? It's in the book. I believe it's in the book. It's on page 582, and it's 1 in the book. It's on like a got it problem. It's number 4 under composite figures. Do you see it? So if you need, just say picture on page 582, whatever. Okay, so what are the dimensions of my top block? So 1, 2.5 has to be here, and, okay, so 1 times 2.5 times 7. Remember, I told you for rectangular prisms, it doesn't matter the order, you just have to multiply all 3 of them together, and it's going to give you the answer. So what about number 2? 4, 7, and 2. And you multiply them together. If you want to know the volume together, you're going to add the answers. Yep. Yeah. Good. So this one, I believe, is, let's see, 3, is it 7? This is 17.5. And this is 28 times 2 would be 56. 73.5 centimeters cubed. This would be the answer. Difficult? Okay, let's make it more difficult. Yeah, let's do it. Come on. So I told you, if it's not a challenge, you're not learning something. Let's go back to this. Okay, before we complain, you can do it yourselves, but what two things do you see in it? There's a triangular prism and there's a rectangular prism. There's a triangular prism and there's a rectangular prism. Start with the rectangular because that can be the most simple one. Okay? And this is also in your book, I believe, and on the same page. The hardest part on this one is the rectangular, the triangular prism. Okay. Yeah, you had it done way too quickly. Stump. I only have a few days left, Carver. I got to get them all in. I got to get them all in. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do the rectangular prism first. Because I like to do the easiest one. Because I like to know I have something right. Okay. So this is going to be my first one. What are the dimensions of that guy? 6, 3, and 2. To be 36. Okay. The second one is the hardest one. Because it's a triangular prism. Now my base is the triangle. So I have to find the area of the triangle. So what are the dimensions of the triangle, Brian? 10 times 2. Okay, remember my triangle's just right here, you guys. So 10 by 2. That's going to be like the height of it. That's the height of it. 10 is the length of it. It's like a piece of cheese turned to the side. It's like a piece of cheese turned to the side. So here you go. So the big B would be 10 times 2 divided by 2. It is 10 times 2 divided by 2. 10 times 2. 3 is like this part right here. I'm just looking at just that triangle right now. I'm not looking at anything else around it. It's tipped around. Yep, it's tipped around the up, like this. Yep. So this would be 10 times my height would be 3, because that's the height of this whole thing. So it would be 30. And then it would be 66 would be my answer. That's okay. There's other ways to do this. Another way you could do this is you could actually pretend this is a prism and then divide it by 2. You could do it 10 times 2 times 3 divided by 2. Because look, it's half a prism, is it not? It's like a prism sliced in half. Must have got lucky. And you got 66? Fine. That's fine, but I'm just showing you that's how it, my way is how it, I showed you to find it in the first place. Like triangle, and this would be your height of it. Okay? One more thing. I'm going to just draw it for you. Okay? We're going to do like a house. Okay? So it's going to look like this. Okay, so there's my side of my house. And then I have a roof. Okay, so you see it? You guys see it? Okay. So it's like a house and then the roof. So here are my dimensions. 12 here. It's 9 centimeters here. It's 9 centimeters tall. And then the triangle, the height is actually also 9 centimeters. And then you got to think too, if this is 12, what does this have to be? Yep. So see if you can figure this one out. See if we can figure this one out. I feel like somebody else drinking my water. It's going too fast. So think about your box on the bottom first. Get that out of the way. It will be a big number. Yep, it'll be in the thousands. That's okay. And then you got to remember the base of this triangle. What's the base of this triangle, you guys? Yes, very good. It's 9. Because you have to use what you know. If this is 9, then this has to be 9. Use what you know. Okay, it's in the thousands, right? Like not over 2,000? Should not be over 2,000. Should not be over 1,500. No. No. What? No. Okay. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the base, or the bottom. Be 12 times 9 times 9. That's the bottom, right? That's this part. And then what? The top would be 9 times 9 divided by 2, because it's a rectangle, times your 12. And then you do those and add them together. So, the height, you got to remember the height of that too. So 12 times 9 times 9. This one's 972. This one would be 9 times 9. Oops. This is 40. So 40.5 times 12. 486. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take this one. 972. 1, 4, 5, 8. Should be the answer. So you didn't multiply by the 12 in the end, or what? Okay, so one step at a time. Not kidding. One step at a time. Do you guys have questions? Okay. What?